Well, what's up, everybody? Welcome to Dice House and our Let's Play experience here with our Electricity Tune Estrella. Today I'm going to bring you kind of a, not really a mission guide or anything like that, uh, but to a little way of just like a kind of a tutorial for a lot of the new players out there. One of the biggest questions I get is, I got my tune to level 30 and basically just wondering what's next. What should they do next? All right. Here's the thing. There's lots of different ways you can go about it. If you're in a league that's helpful and everything like that, willing to help you out, as in regards as far as getting your first tier one set and everything like that, it's going to be really easy for you. You'll be able to group up with them for some of the easier tier alerts, tier one alerts, and you'll be able to get your marks quicker and easier that way. You'll also be able to go in and basically walk through your duos with, any number of level 30s out there who have got a lot of gear and skill points that can basically blow through the duos for you. Um, but for a lot of people out there who may not have a league, who that can help you with the let's say lower level end content, like the duos and tier one alerts, or for those of you who may not have a league at all and are going through this game solo right now, this should help you out in this regards. Okay, first thing you want to do here is now you're fresh level 30. Okay, and once you hit level 30, you automatically get this mission called where's it at? Emergency response. Okay, so let's go ahead and we'll click that to follow it.
This is Oracle. You've done it. You're ready for some of our toughest challenges. Zatanna in the watchtower will fill you in.
Alright, so let's head on over here to Zatanna. She hangs out here in the Hall of Heroes. And, wall banging all over the place. I usually zip through there okay. And let's talk to Zatanna.
I'm Zatanna, and I assign the Justice League's biggest, baddest group battles each day. You'll need a full cast for this show. Check your communicators on duty tab. One of the missions Oracle's uploading now is today's big show. Break a leg.
Alright, so let's take a look here at our journal. Complete that out.
Now that you've spoken to Zatanna, I think it's time I gave you access to our daily challenges. I had Wayne Tech make up these kiosks. Oracle's challenge kiosks. Too cute? Anyway, they'll keep you in good standing with your mentors, plus the heroic factions and their gear. Follow your map to the kiosks and we'll get you started.
Okay, so now we're going to follow the map to the kiosk here. As you see, we've got a lot of missions added to our journal right there. Just by doing that one little mission there. Alright, we're going to come over here. This is the first kiosk. And each wing is going to be these kiosks. Okay, to where you get your daily challenges.
This is the daily challenge kiosk in your wing. Definitely go check out the others. Every time you complete a kiosk challenge, you'll gain renown with that faction and access to bigger and better gear. But wait, there's more.
Okay, go ahead and accept that. Alright, yeah, like I said, in each wing there will be these challenge kiosks that you will find. These are daily missions. You can do them once a day. And as you can see here, you'll get one mark of triumph. Now, there's two newer challenges that they've added to the game. They are the Penguin and Catwoman challenges. You get 2 marks per day for doing those. Those are a bit harder though, so they're worth the 2 marks that you get. And let's grab this collection real quick before we continue on. I don't recommend them if you're just now first starting out, but if you think you can try it, knock yourself out, give it a shot. But I highly recommend you go through the other challenges first and try and get yourself at least a couple pieces of gear before you go in there. Do that. And the first gear you're going after is the Tier 1 Triumph gear. Right up here. Now, locate. There we go.
This is one of your origin vendors. They're linked to your mentor, and they're your exclusive agent for that raid gear. Take some time and see what's in store for you. In fact, your first expendable should already be under your currency tab.
Okay, and expendable, she's talking about the marks of triumph. So let's take a look at our currency tab real quick here. Let's go to our inventory and go to currency here. Okay, we have 4 marks of triumph. Obviously, we're just getting started. We're not going to be able to buy a piece of tier 1 gear right off the bat.
If you are worthy, this armor can be yours.
What I suggest is for you, depending on what role you're going to focus on, whether it be healing, tanking, controlling, or DPSing. Okay, these vendors sell that gear, a set of that gear for each role, all 4 of those roles. I highly recommend that, and I know for some it may take a while. I recommend you try and purchase the most expensive pieces first. Okay, so you'll want to go after these chest, leg, and head pieces, and then the shoulders, and then hands, and waist, and feet, and then the back piece. Simply because it'll take you a while to get these more expensive pieces out of the way, but as you go, it'll get a lot cheaper for you down the road. I also recommend that you only work on one specific style set at a time, too. That way it doesn't take you as long to complete the style feat. And the style feats for these tier 1 gears is 50 feat points. So, and for the first set that you complete, it's another 50 feat points as well. So that's a whole skill point just for completing one suit of armor. And it's going to take you a little while. It'll take some time. It's going to take and work to get through there. But I highly recommend it. Like I said, though, depending on what role you're going to be focusing on at first, I highly recommend that you start purchasing that gear for that specific role. I know for myself, since I want to try healing out, I'm probably going to go after the healer gear first. So I'll be saving up my marks for this Fate's Faith chest piece right here to start off my job in healing and everything. Let's head on over here, though. Follow the arrow. And this will take us over here to where the PvP gear is located for the Magic Wing.
You've already stomped some villainy, but now, every time you triumph in a daily mission from Hawkman, Zatanna, or the Martian Manhunter, you'll be earning something we call marks. They're a way of showing your true colors as you fight against crime, and they're the only way to earn the raid suits from your mentor.
Okay, let's go ahead and go to our journal here.
There you have it. I've uploaded the data on the League's current duos, alerts, and raids. Look for the star in your communicator's on-duty tab for what's most urgent each day. You know, today's star attraction. We can always use more heroes like you, and the battle has just begun.
Okay, let's go ahead and complete that out. Alright, this is the PvP gear. This is considered the Tier 1 set for the Magic Wing. This costs influence.
Do your powers match the greatness
instead
in your
of
heart?
any kind of marks.
Aspire to this ideal,
and
you can earn this suit.
500, or 550 for the legs, and it goes down for that. Same guide line applies for purchasing PvP gear. Try and save up for the most expensive market pieces first. You see, I only have 35 influence. By doing arenas, you'll earn at least 50 influence per arena, win or lose. You'll earn at least 50 influence. Okay, this is for the that goes towards the Tier 1 pieces. Now, another big question I have in regards to combat rating is what kind of gear will increase my combat rating? How do I increase my combat rating? I'm going to tell you right now, combat rating only applies to PvE.
I am the king of Atlantis.
Okay,
like my
so
father
while
before
you
me.
may look here at the DPS chest piece for PvP right here, it shows you it has an item level of 30 right there. You can see under it where it says durability and just above where it says cannot trade. Okay, 30 is nothing. Okay, I'll tell you that right now, because right now I could probably take a look and see what our combat rating is currently with our character right here. Yeah, my combat rating is currently 32. So obviously, PvP gear has absolutely no bearing whatsoever on your combat rating. Alright, so it doesn't matter how much PvP gear you have. Alright, combat rating is only determines what you are doing for PvE. Now, for PvE here, okay, you're going to come over here and you're going to take a look at
I'm happy
this
to see you.
tier 1 set, okay? You come over here and you look at the combat rating for it. It has an item level of 46, okay? Now, it's going to be a big jump for us once we are able to purchase our first piece of tier 1 gear, obviously. I'm not exactly positive on how it averages out between what kind of gear you have, but it is, I do know it is an average of the item level for each piece of gear that you have combined, basically. So even if I was to go in there and get a tier 1 chest piece right now, it probably would not put my combat rating up high enough to do or higher than 35 maybe, or maybe even 38 might probably be the highest I think it could probably go. One way to try and increase your combat rating at first, so you possibly in the more difficult content, is to come over here and take a look at this gear right here. This is the faction gear that Oracle was telling us about before. Now, some of this gear may not be as good as the gear you've got. Some of it may be worse than the gear you have. Some of it may be a whole lot better than the gear you have. Like these legs out here, I may possibly grab these legs up later on once I get cooperative. That's another thing you have to do with the challenges too, okay? You come over here to your your deeds tab here, and you look at your renown, okay? You can see what your renown is with each faction. All right, so you might, renown's almost there for Magic. It's still low for Star Labs and for Wayne Tech. But by doing your daily challenges, greatly helps to increase your renown with each faction. And once you're able to once you get cooperative with all three, you'll be able to purchase an entire set of the faction gear. And you won't be able to get the emblem until you get trusted with that faction. So, and there is a feat for buying those emblems. Now, the next thing you want to do if you're going to start getting yourself into any kind of PvP situations here with your brand new level 32 is you want to make your way over here to the reactor core. Now, in the reactor core is where you will purchase. Now, you can come down here and you can purchase your Legends characters, but you come down here also and purchase your first full set of PvP, level 30 PvP gear. Okay, as you can see right here, it's called the Archangel set. Now, because I am healing and I plan on healing and DPSing for PvP, I'm going to end up purchasing 2 sets of this armor. Okay, one's going to be strictly healing, the other one's going to be strictly DPS. Now you'll see that this DPS set does lower my precision and my might, but it greatly increases my toughness and increases my health. That's another key statistic you need to pay attention to in this game with your later content when you're PvPing or PvEing. Okay, what your toughness is, that is how much damage you can take from another player. Like, okay, you're in a PvP environment, you're in an arena. That the toughness score determines on how much damage you can take. All right, your defense is for PvE. That determines how much damage you can take from mobs, bosses, stuff like that in alerts, challenges, duos, and raids. All right, your defense score has absolutely nothing to do with helping you out in PvP. So you're definitely going to want to come down here and purchase up yourself a set of PvP gear from this vendor right here. Down here is also where you will find your first, not your first, but your trinkets as well, as far as the tier 1 and later on purchasing tier 2 trinket. The tier 2 trinkets are highly recommended for PvP simply because any kind of debuffs you get on yourself, you can remove them with those trinkets. Also, you will find here, rings, and this is also where you will purchase your PvP weapons. These are the tier 2 PvP weapons. These are better than the weapons that are sold from the vendor at Ring War or Diamond Heist, because they do more damage. They also have a higher precision affinity to them whenever you use them against another player, and also have a higher rate of ignore for toughness towards an enemy player. It's being questioned right now, and I'm kind of leaning on the agreement side that currently, as of when I record this, the PvP weapons aren't working as advertised, and you're not getting that precision bonus. You're not getting the toughness ignore that it calls for. So I would save my marks up and buy one anyways, because eventually it's going to get fixed, hopefully. But if you have a raid weapon that does more damage, isn't DPS wise than than one of those PvP weapons, then I recommend you use that instead. Now real quick, I'm going to talk about this guy right here, Cyborg right here. Okay, Cyborg gives this mission out here, and I'm going to just activate it real quick.
Brainiac's forces are massing on the south side of Gotham. We're looking for a group to get some recon. You up for it?
Alright, this mission right here, this Invasion Gotham mission, this is probably the most worthless mission in the game. Alright, when you first get it, when you come over here to do it, it's probably going to be you and by yourself, and it's when you first go to get it, you're going to be low on skill points. You're not going to have strong enough gear, and it's going to take probably a raid group of you and other players like yourself who are just getting started to go over and do this mission. This is like an open world raid. Honestly, for what it rewards, only 125 cash and only 2 Soda Colas Extremes, this mission is absolutely completely worthless. You don't get any renown out of it. You don't get any kind of a feat out of it. It's a worthless mission. Don't bother with it. Alright, I've done it once on my main, and I'm never doing it again. That about finishes it up. Now, in regards to getting into combat rating system a little bit more, as you saw, my combat rating is currently 32. Alright, this is the tier 2 PvP armor. This costs marks of conquest. You'll also earn those in arenas, whether they're legendary or regular arenas. Slightly better than the tier 1 gear that you get with influence. Anyways, back to combat rating. What you're going to end up doing is basically slowly, eventually, over time, okay, you're going to be doing the first role specific gear that you're going to get for your character, whether it's healing, tank, DPS, or controller. You're going to start picking that stuff up in your duos, okay? Now there's specific style sets for each role that you will get that will drop from the bosses in those duos. I highly recommend that. I'm not saying that you do all the duos until you get that full set, but eventually, getting the gear in those duos, that's going to gradually increase your combat rating. Alright, you come over here and you check the on duty tab, okay? If we take a look at our duos right now, okay, we can queue in to all of the duos. Alright, you can go around and you can pick up all the challenges and go around and you can earn marks from the challenges. But however, when you come over here to do the hard tier 2 duo, it says you need a combat rating of 43. Well, that's also going to hold true with the raids. The beginner raids, like the Outer Caverns, Kondak, Inner, and Subconstruct. You need to have a combat rating of 43. Alright, now if you remember, when we go over here and we took a look at our tier 1 gear.
No, really. I'm very happy to see you.
it told us that we had to have, or it gives us a item, has an item level of 46. So that tells us that you're not going to need a full set of tier 1 in order to do the raids or the tier 2 duo. All right. Or even I believe we come over here to the alerts. Yeah, you'll see Smallville here. I can't even queue into Smallville or Stryker's Island or Arkham Asylum because my combat range is only 32. You can see that up top right corner, this tab. So I have to get, maybe a piece or two more of gear to increase my combat rating. Now, the combat rating is not determined on whether it's tier gear or not. It's also the drop gear, like I said, with the loot that drops in the duos. The Seraph for healing, I believe it's military tech for controllers. Kabuki is DPS. Medieval is tank. I think I got those right. Yeah. So that stuff will increase your combat rating. I actually did an FOS 1 raid today with my ice tank alt that I have, and I started that raid out. We walked in. We had an experienced group, and I know how to tank and keep myself alive and everything. Plus it's ice, so I get into too hairy of a situation. I pop reflect and I'm safe for a couple of seconds. But I walked in there with a 51 combat rating. The only pieces of tier PvE gear I had on, I believe, was my chest, legs, and I believe my shoulders. The rest was all blue gear. I think I had a couple of pieces of sector agent and a couple of pieces of Viking tank gear that drops from the tier 1 alerts, and the sector agents drops from the Green Lantern alerts, and that's tank specific gear. It was all tank gear though. But I was able to walk in there and still able to do that alert, or I'm sorry, do that raid, and had enough marks of Krypton to go and purchase my tier 3 back piece, and that bumped my combat rating up, I believe, to 54. So like I said, depending on the gear, it can jump you up greatly, or it can only jump you up a little bit depending on what gear you get. That being said, what I did today, I don't recommend you try doing with a pug group, because a lot of pug groups, they would rather queue into it. I would prefer to queue into alerts and raids, but they prefer to queue into it. And if you don't have the combat rating to get in to the into this content, then they're going to kick you out of the group. I can guarantee you that right now. So unless you're running with a bunch of buddies or you're running with people in your league, 9 times out of 10 you're going to get kicked out of the group because you don't have a high enough combat rating. So, I know it's a slow grind for a lot of people. It's going to be a really slow grind, doing it this way. But go through, do your challenges, do your duos, and do them daily. Do them as often as possible. Get your marks. While you're working on getting your marks to get your first piece or first couple of pieces of tier 1 gear, I guarantee you're going to probably be able to complete out at least 1, if not 2 sets of the style specific and role specific gear sets that drop in those duos, and those duos for you. So you'll probably be able to complete out the Kabuki set for DPS, and either your specific main role of tank, healer, or controller. Those will increase your combat rating. Actually, I should have maybe done this on my ice, because I'm pretty sure I've got all like 3 or 4 different levels of gear on her right now, so I could better illustrate this for you. But yeah, so go through, do those challenges, do those duos. I know it's kind of tedious and all that, but facts are facts. You're not going to be able to walk in, except for a couple of the alerts. I believe you can walk into Ace Chemicals Yeah, you can walk into Ace Chemicals, Arkham Asylum, Strikers, and Watchtower Containment. You can walk into those alerts right there, but the other ones you can't. And but chances are you're not really going to be able to find people who are willing to walk into those alerts rather than just queue into them, because they're going to want to make sure that you have the combat rating for it. So definitely, I know I said this before, but I'll say it again. Do the challenges, do the duos. I know it's a slow grind, but you'll eventually get them up there and be able to not only collect gear that will help you increase your combat rating, but also it'll eventually get you the marks that you need to purchase your first piece of tier 1 gear. That will also, as you can see, is going to greatly increase my combat rating when I buy my first tier 1 piece, and then I'll be able to finally queue into these more difficult tier 1 alerts, like Smallville, Strikers Island, Arkham Asylum. Those are the more difficult of the tier 1s. But yeah, if you guys have any more questions, real quick, I wanted to add too about that. The rings and neck pieces that you can get, also your weapons and trinkets, those also apply towards your combat rating. So if you happen to get yourself a nice weapon drop in a raid, or you're finally able to get into and you've downloaded the Lightning Strike content, and you get yourself into Central City, and you get yourself one of those new spark weapons, or the spark trinket, market momentum trinket and everything, that will also greatly increase your combat rating. I bought the spark weapon on my main, and it bumped him up an entire I think it was just 1 point on the combat rating, to be honest with you. But it was a 113, and I just had my combat rating is 68. Now he's a 69 after I bought that weapon. Also, another thing I want to mention about the combat rating. The combat rating only applies to your character dependent on the best piece of gear that you equipped onto him at the time. Okay, not it doesn't determine like your combat rating by what gear you're wearing. It's by what gear you've equipped. Okay, so you can be wearing a tier 3 tank chest piece. All right, if you are going to go DPS, and the only DPS chest piece you have is a tier 1 chest piece, it's still going to show that your combat rating is 65 or whatever it is. But that doesn't mean that you're going to be performing to a combat rating 65 DPS level, basically. So that's another thing you want to keep an eye out for. So if you want to try and DPS FOS and you've only got tier 1 gear to DPS with, I don't recommend you try doing that, because you're kind of hold back the team. Also, another thing I want to comment on, if you're going to DPS, and I know, I know I switched to dual wields in the last video for my last mission, everything like that, and I know the 6 square Deadly Fury combo is the one that everybody goes after a lot, because that last hit does so much damage, especially if you got really good gear and a lot of skill points. But it does a lot of damage. I mean, you may have seen, I was, critting like 400s and stuff like that with like 35 skill point too, and I got no tier gear on at all. But if you're going to DPS in a raid, especially a raid like FOS, where you've got bosses that do AoE damage of over 2k, alright, do me and everybody out there a favor that you're pugging with. Don't try and use dual wields on them. Get a ranged weapon and do your damn job as a DPS. Alright? I'm sick and tired of seeing all these dual wield jerk-offs trying to go in there and bang out their, damage, by doing these dual wields, and especially the jack-offs that go in there and do the whole, death spin thing. That's a horrible combo. I'm actually spec'd into it, and I did it by accident, because it's such a bad combo. All right, that's my little rant moment there. Sorry about that. But yeah, dual wield's not the best weapon for you to be DPSing with in a raid. Alright? Stick with the ranged weapons. Sit back, do your use your power, because you're going to do more damage with your powers than you are with your weapon. I don't care what weapon it is, and I don't care if it's got a broken mechanic on it or not. Anyways, that's my little guide there for helping you start yourself started as far as how to start getting your gear and earning your marks and everything like that. I'm going to start probably putting up. I'm not going to put you guys through the daily challenges simply because they're missions that I've already done. I know some of the duos are the same way, but the duos are at least slightly different. Yeah. Until next time, though, let me know what. Here's a question for everybody. I said I'm going to start trying to look into on the healing thing aspect here for electricity. I am going to do a loadout guide for electricity for healing and DPS here soon. I'll probably have that out later this week. But another question I have for you, I want to continue this Let's Play, but I also want to do it with other characters outside of electricity. More specifically, I'll probably be looking at doing concentrating mostly on fire, ice, and mental. To face facts, the nature, gadgets and Harlight characters I have are about at the same level as this tune is, and while I'm going to continue the Let's Plays with this character, showing the progression and leveling, getting skill points, and also getting gear for it and everything like that. I know a lot of people out there want to have a lot of questions about tanking and DPSing and controlling that I want to try and answer for you too. So let me know in the comments below what you want to see as far as my use of those other powers, in regards to fire, ice, and mental. I'll see what I can do about sorcery, nature, and gadgets and hard light, but like I said, they're basically in the same boat as this character is right now as far as gear and skill points are concerned. But I'll see what I can do. But yeah, let me know what you guys think, and in the comments below, let me know what you guys would like to see in future Let's Plays. If you liked the video, please give it a thumbs up. And if you haven't done so already, please subscribe. I really appreciate it. Until next time, you guys, this is going to close up this little chapter here of our Let's Play, and we will continue on with future Let's Plays, determinant upon any suggestions or requests that I get from you guys. Alright, until then, you guys take care. Bye.